done a live. Happy Monday morning, everybody. Here he is. Let's see. Viewer, here we go. I found his request, but it was bundled with a bunch of other people's requests. View request. Brogan, send me another request. How do we do this? Sorry, guys, I don't want to waste anyone's time. I'm hardly an Instagram Live expert here, but it'll be worth it when we get Brogan in. Let's see, here we go. Let's give him a second to log in here. This will be worth it. How's everybody doing? Let me know what you guys. There he is.
Are we doing this? What do we do now?
Continues line. For everybody who is just tuning in, wow, we got like 760 people here. Happy Monday, everyone. Brogan is the guest on today's podcast. What do you want about your appearance?
Are you pumped?
I am psyched.
It's Monday. Do you save like the good ones for Monday, or are those kind of the ones you just throw away? When's the best day? Is it today?
Monday. Well, usually the way it works is Mondays are for the traditional like interviews that I do, and then the midweek episodes are the role.
was our conversation a traditional interview?
No, I think someone comment somewhere saying if you're expecting Rich to do his normal like super calm, grounded like conversation, this is not that.
Right. I saw that too, and I was like, okay, I think there's a compliment in there. I think that's good. I think that's good.
No, you definitely brought the energy, and the way these things work for me is we just talked a couple minutes ago on FaceTime, and I was like, yeah, I move forward. Like I don't reflect back on the podcast that much. And this one ready to go live. For some reason in my memory, I thought it was a really short one. I thought we only went for like an hour.
It was fucking 2 hours.
Almost 2 hours. And when I sit down to like kind of write the blog post for it, I have to try to remember what we talked about. And I'm usually like, I don't remember anything we talked about. So I went back and listened to a little bit of it, which I rarely do. And I was what
did we talk about? What were some of the topics?
We talked about, well, we came in hot with just, Indianapolis. So we started off heavy, I think, that, but then it pivots into, this theme. I mean, the overall theme orients around the story you tell about approaching those ice fishermen and how your friend tells you that you're a friend hunter.
That's right.
And I love the, if people watch it on YouTube or they haven't checked it out yet, the little intro that we do at the beginning, Jason worked a little magic in the audio engineering of you announcing that you're on the podcast. Right?
My name is Brogan Graham, and this is the Richroll Pod. Pod, and the wheel starts to click.
Yeah. Like 3 takes of that. Yeah.
Rich, man, I'm a fan of the show. It's a thoughtful thing. I mean, I feel like 2 hours is like how long you usually go, but I will say that I sat down with you and it felt like a 10-minute conversation. You're good at your job, dude.
Thanks, bro.
I'm telling 530.
It's always easier to do it when you have an extreme extrovert like yourself. Like, pressure's sort of off. Like, there isn't going to be, a sort of quiet moment where we're staring. Figure out what come next.
Well, we had talked about that because you traveled the night before, and I was like, dude, look, if you're feeling under the weather, just set up one mic. I can crush it. Just sit in the room. I'll talk. I can do 2 hours solo.
Yeah.
So it was cool, man. It was cool to have you here. I think going into it, we were both a little bit not on edge, but just careful of like the timing around the Chauvin case, the Dante Wright shooting. Which, by the way, in case anyone hasn't listened or has listened, I think you said Dwayne Wright in the beginning of the show. So, that's fucked that up. So, but we also
theme of like you're going to get it wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
That's bad. Yeah,
you made the mistake. Yeah, you made the mistake so that you can be like this glossy podcaster guy that makes public mistakes, and then And then, you know, people can look at that and be like, yeah, we should learn the right names, right? That's cool.
All the mistakes that I made. No, so for people that are just tuning in, right, he's today's guest on the podcast. Brogan, November project. Brogan relocated like a year and a half ago from San Diego to Minneapolis. Brogan reached out to me when, you know, kind of Minneapolis was going off the chain and said, you should come out here. It was all his idea. I went out there. We recorded 4 podcasts, but the podcast that I did with you was the first one that I did. We're kind of releasing these in reverse order.
Right.
In certain respects. So today's show was recorded like the morning after we arrived and prior to conversations with Anthony Taylor and Jeremiah Ellison, which I've released in previous weeks. So
for great shows.
How's this going to go and what's going to happen, and a lot of anticipation because we recorded in mid-April at the tail end of the Chauvin trial when we weren't sure what was going to happen.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, you came here the first morning you woke up here in Minneapolis. There was snow on the ground, and you and your crew were here to like. Look, you jumped into this city like with like half a plan, but you really believed in being here and the timing of being here, which like some could argue was like, it's not a tourist stop. Like, what do you do? You're flying here from Los Angeles to what? To tell what stories? Like, at the same time, I would say storytellers should go to important places and important moments. And I thought it was awesome. I thought it was cool that like that you were interested in leaning into an uncomfortable thing that you're not ready for, and neither am I. You know, and so the connection came from my friend Claire Wood, who got me to become friends with this guy named Jacob, who happens to be the fucking mayor of Minneapolis. So he and I got to go running a good amount in my first year or two of living here, and I had the idea through meditation one day that I was like, man, Rich should come talk to Jacob and see who else he could kind of rally to tell stories of Minneapolis in this important time. And I never thought you'd come, but you showed up, and it was really special. So,
well, as I said in the podcast, I kind of baited you. I kept making it sound like I was going to back out at the last minute, but the truth is the plan really hadn't come together. So it was a little bit of a leap of faith. But in my experience, when you take that leap of faith, things you put yourself in the position for magic to happen, and it all kind of came together in a beautiful way. And I'm so glad that I went. And you know, it's an experience that I won't soon forget. That was really catalyzed by your enthusiasm for doing it. Grateful to you for that. And it did also mark a bit of a evolution in the show. Like I really enjoyed going someplace and doing podcasts that are event driven, which is a little bit different than my typical thing, which is creating evergreen conversations. So it's a department sense, but it felt like the right thing to do, and I'm so glad that I did it, and I'm better for it, and I learned like so much. It's crazy.
Well, it's cool, and it was cool because I also can see, I mean, the success of your podcast. You could keep going the way you are. It'd be great. People love you. You go long form. You go in depth. You challenge norms. You tackle topics you're not an expert in, but you do your homework and you go deep. People love you. You know. However, continue taking you out of your comfort zone. Like, I'll bet you go on the road. I'll bet you, like, maybe not do this all the time, but I'll bet you go to other important times. So I'm pumped. I'm pumped for you, man. Pumped.
Well, this episode's super fun. It's definitely high energy. And to kind of bring up like a recurring joke, you know, the idea, Adam and I keep talking about this on the roll on, like, you know, Adam being like appropriately available for the show has ensured his job security, but there's this guy called Brogan Graham who's out looming in the background, who's coming for Adam, right? Should we talk about that?
Yeah, I'm gonna take that guy down. Yeah, I don't know when I'll be in Southern California next.
Brogan's like, it's cool to be on the podcast, but what I really want to do is do the ads with you, right?
Totally.
Yeah, so we got to get you out to Los Angeles, get you in the studio, and we'll bang out like 2 months ads.
Yeah, it's a little risky though, because I might go jokey and I might give the wrong like I might like clown them around on like you know 10,000 or the mushroom coffee or whatever, and they might be upset, you know. So
it's a fine line. You walk a tightrope, my friend.
Right. Well, I'm down, man. I'm down.
But also, we have to celebrate these sponsors who have been amazing partners and allow me do the thing that I do.
Have you ever woke up in the morning and wanted a cup of coffee and then thought, I really want some mushroom coffee?
I have had that.
Right? Totally.
So
anyway,
we'll
I'm on. Huh?
We'll start rehearsing now.
I can't wait to see how people like or pick apart our conversation today. Being here in Minneapolis, I know I didn't say enough. I know that there's a lot more work to do, and it's the start. I encourage anyone that's not really sure of how to like jump into tough conversations to try it and get ripped apart, man, and make mistakes in public and keep moving forward. So,
yeah, another like theme is just this idea of like taking swings, and this didn't come across in the podcast because it happened after we recorded, but over the course of several days in Minneapolis, like kind of cruising around the city with Brogan, one experience that you have with this guy is that he literally walks up to every single person that he sees on the street and tries to not just strike up a conversation, but recruit them into a friendship. And I watched this unfold many times, and marveled at it. But I think that your life, Brogan, is so much more rich from developing that habit. And I think Jason said to you at some point, does anybody just like shine you on or tell you to go away? And you're like, yeah, all the time, but I'm just taking swings. Like I'm taking swings at bat, and it's like a muscle or a habit that I've developed. And as a result, your life is filled with, a lot of people that I think, gives your life a lot more richness. And I think about that a lot. I've started practicing that. We talk about sending short films that's this practice that you've cultivated. You've been doing this with me, and I in turn have started doing it with other friends, and it's been really fun. If there's like one takeaway from the whole thing, it's like start sending your friends short films by text. Practical you can do that I promise you will bring some happiness and value to your life.
Well, the thing with your crew when they were here is that like when you came in, it was cold at the beginning of your trip and it was warm at the end, and we were down at the Lake of the Isles at that place.
You jumped girls' TikTok,
right? Well, no, and the character that you noticed like 20 feet away with the Picky Bars hoodie. Remember this?
Oh, right. Yeah.
You were like, I think that dude's wearing a Picky Bars hoodie. And for those of you guys who don't know, Picky Bars, kind of a specific, like, it lands in the health and wellness, but mostly like the endurance kind of world. Picky Bars hoodie. And I was like, well, that's enough. I'll be right back,
Yeah.
Whereas you were going to sit there and like have noticed the Picky Bars hoodie and let that ride. I was like, no way. So I go over there. Well, no. And I just told Goldie, I just told my wife this story. I was like, so I went over there, as you've seen a million times. And I said, hey, Picky Bars, I'm friends with Rob Krar, who's an ultra runner who's like involved with Picky Bars, and I think they're awesome. And the dude looked up at me and he goes, yeah, I'm like a pseudo pro triathlete. And then he takes like half a second and then turns over to you and goes, is that Richroll?
Right.
And we kicked it off with the dude. It was awesome. So I find a really, really like minimal way of like an entry point, and I go in, and I think it's fun. It's almost gamified of like, your homies were like, don't you get shut down all the time? Like, fuck yeah. Yes. 15 out of 20, 19 out of 20 times. Right. But I don't know. I mean, especially now with the masks, by the way, keep wearing your masks. It's just another challenge. I turn to people in the grocery store and our 6-foot markings between, and I, with my mask on, I say, with the masks, we got to try even harder. So how are you doing today? And it's like, I believe in that shit. I believe in that. It's a practice. So yeah. Yeah.
All right, dude. Well, everybody check out the podcast. It's a super fun. Brogan lights it up, he brings his A game, and I love you, brother.
Some kind of game. It's good. It's good.
Cool. All right. Well, maybe we'll do more of these Instagram lives. What do you think?
I'm into it, dude. Peace and plants.
All right, dude.
Peace.
Have a great day, buddy. How do I sign off? There we go.